I want you to stop for a second and really think about this. Your male cat has the entire house. The couch, the window ledge, that perfect patch of afternoon sunlight on the kitchen tile, the armchair nobody uses. Every soft surface, every warm corner, every quiet spot in every room. All of it available to him. All of it his, anytime he wants it. And every single night, he picks you. Not the couch, not the floor, not the spare bedroom. You. Most people hear that and think, he just likes the warmth. He's a cuddly cat. That's just what he does. And I understand why. It's the easiest explanation, and it lets you move on without sitting with something that might actually mean quite a lot. But here's what I need you to hear right now, before we go any further. That explanation isn't just incomplete. It's wrong, in a way that's actually costing you something real. Because what your male cat is doing when he sleeps with you every night isn't random. It isn't habit. It isn't default behavior because you happened to be warm and available. It's communication. It's deliberate. And it's built on a level of trust that most cat owners spend years trying to earn and never fully recognize when they finally have it. Stay with me all the way through this, because toward the end, I'm going to describe one specific thing your male cat does while he's asleep right next to you. Something you've probably watched happen dozens of times without understanding what you are actually seeing. And when you finally understand it, you're going to look at your cat differently. I promise you that. Let's start with what he's actually telling you. He is claiming you. Not in a controlling or possessive way. In the oldest, most instinctive way that cats understand belonging. And once you understand this, the entire dynamic of what you thought your relationship was shifts significantly. Cats are among the most territorially sophisticated animals that share living space with humans. Every surface, object, room, and creature in their environment gets continuously evaluated. Mine or not mine. Safe or unknown. Trusted or suspicious. This isn't passive background processing. It's active, ongoing, and central to how a cat understands and moves through the world. When your male cat chooses to sleep with you specifically, he isn't just gravitating toward the nearest comfortable thing. He is making a territorial declaration in the only language available to him. He is saying, with his body, in the most unambiguous way he can, "This is mine. This person is mine. This space is mine." And the research backs this up more clearly than most people realize. A study published in the journal Current Biology adapted the Ainsworth Strange Situation Test, a validated methodology originally designed to measure the quality of attachment bonds between human infants and their caregivers, and applied it directly to domestic cats and their owners. The results were striking. The majority of cats tested demonstrated secure attachment behaviors toward their owners, using the owner as a safe base, showing measurable distress when separated, and returning to relaxed behavior quickly when the owner returned. Male cats, in particular, tend to consolidate that attachment more intensely onto a single primary person than females do. This is partly hormonal, partly behavioral, but the practical outcome is consistent. When a male cat has decided you are his person, that decision is serious. It runs deep. And one of its most persistent expressions is where he chooses to be when he is at his most vulnerable. Sleep is vulnerability. Every animal on Earth knows this at the biological level, even if they can't articulate it. When you sleep, your reaction time drops. Your environmental awareness drops. Your ability to respond to a threat drops. For a prey species, sleep is one of the most dangerous things you do every single day. And even for a predator like a cat, who sits near the top of the food chain in most American homes, the instinctive caution around sleep never fully disappears. It was wired in over millions of years of evolution, and it doesn't get overwritten by central air conditioning and a full food bowl. So when your male cat decides the right place to be during those vulnerable hours is pressed against you, he is making a statement that goes well beyond preference. He is placing his physical safety in proximity to yours. He is trusting that whatever his instincts might flag about the risks of deep sleep, your presence makes those risks manageable. You make him feel safe enough to do something that his biology would otherwise treat as dangerous. You were chosen, not defaulted to, actively chosen. And if there are other people in your home, a partner, a roommate, kids, and your cat consistently sleeps with you rather than with them, that is not coincidence. Cats don't distribute attachment randomly or out of social politeness. They evaluate over time who provides consistent safety, predictability, and what researchers call emotional attunement, a responsiveness that animals read clearly even when they can't name it. If he chose you, it's because something in how you move, how you speak, how you respond to him, communicated over time that you were the right choice. That is the result of a relationship being built piece by piece, even on the days when neither of you was paying much attention to it. Now let's talk about where he positions himself, because this is something almost nobody thinks about consciously. But once you notice it, you can't stop noticing it. Next time your male cat settles in for the night, pay attention to exactly where his body lands. Is he between you and the edge of the bed? Is he positioned facing the doorway or the main entry point into the room? Is he at your feet in a way that places him between you and wherever someone would have to come from to reach you? Most people, if they've noticed this at all, have assumed it's just the cat finding a comfortable spot. It isn't. The positioning is not random. It is, in a very real sense, tactical. Cats in the wild seek positions that give them maximum visibility of approaching threats while minimizing their own exposure. This is not a behavioral quirk unique to feral or outdoor cats. It is millions of years of survival logic encoded at the deepest level of feline neurology, and it doesn't disappear just because your cat has never spent a night outside in his life. When your male cat positions himself between you and the room's entry points, researchers at the University of Lincoln identified this as proximity-based protective behavior, a pattern seen in cats who have formed strong primary attachments, where the cat uses spatial positioning to monitor the environment on behalf of the bonded individual. In plain language, he is standing watch over you while you sleep. He is not relaxing next to you. He is guarding you. And the reason this distinction matters is because of what it tells you about how he sees you. He hasn't just incorporated you into his environment as a comfortable object. He has incorporated your well-being into his own behavioral priorities. Your safety has become, in a genuine biological sense, something he acts on. Every night, in the same position, facing the same direction, without being asked, and without any reward for doing it. That is loyalty in one of its purest available forms. Now, I told you I'd come back to something specific. Something that happens while your cat is actually asleep beside you. I'm going to get to that. But first, there are a few more things his sleep behavior is telling you that are worth understanding. Let's talk about what happens when he knows something is wrong, before you do. You've probably experienced a version of this, a day that felt impossible to carry. The kind where you didn't want to explain yourself to anyone, where you just wanted to lie down and have the world leave you alone for a while. And before you said a word, before you did anything visibly different, your cat appeared. He pressed himself into your side in a way he doesn't usually do, or settled directly on your chest with a weight that somehow felt exactly right. He stayed there. Most people write this off as coincidence. It isn't. Cats with strong primary attachments are extraordinarily sensitive to changes in their owner's emotional and physiological state. A study conducted at the University of Nottingham found that cats demonstrate measurable behavioral responses to subtle shifts in their owner's demeanor, body language, and body chemistry. That last element is not metaphorical. When human stress levels increase, cortisol affects body odor in ways that are chemically detectable. Cats, whose olfactory systems are roughly 14 times more sensitive than ours, can pick up on those chemical shifts before they've become fully apparent, even to the person experiencing them. What this means practically is that your male cat may know you're struggling before you've consciously registered it yourself. He reads you constantly, across multiple sensory channels at once. The way you move, the tension in your voice, the scent of your skin. And when the data tells him something is off, he responds. Not because he was trained to, not because he expects anything in return, because the bond he built with you has made your emotional state a meaningful input in his own internal world. Here's what makes this genuinely remarkable. Pack animals, dogs, wolves, primates, are expected to show social support behaviors. They evolved in group structures where those behaviors conferred real survival advantages. Cats are not pack animals. They did not evolve in social structures that would have selected for this kind of emotional sensitivity to others. When your male cat shows up for you on your hardest days, he is doing something that his evolutionary history did not strictly require of him. He chose to build the kind of relationship with you where that response became natural. When your male cat has established a consistent sleeping pattern with you, same position, same general location, same routine, that pattern becomes a baseline. And when it changes, the change means something. Veterinary behaviorists have consistently identified shifts in sleeping behavior as one of the earliest observable signals of underlying physical or emotional distress in cats. If your male cat suddenly stops sleeping in his usual position beside you and retreats to an isolated or hidden spot, this can indicate pain driving him toward protective isolation. If he begins sleeping directly on top of you when he normally stays alongside you, he may be seeking additional body heat because his system is struggling to regulate temperature, which can signal illness. If he becomes restless during periods when he's normally deeply settled, this can point to gastrointestinal discomfort, anxiety, or pain that's disrupting his sleep cycles. Here's what I promised you at the beginning. The thing you've watched happen dozens of times without fully understanding it. Here's what it means. REM sleep, the stage in which dreaming occurs, is the deepest, most neurologically vulnerable phase of the entire sleep cycle. During REM, the brain is running at near waking speed, while the body is held in a state of near complete motor suppression. The mind is fully active, while physical responsiveness is essentially switched off. For any animal, reaching and sustaining REM sleep requires a level of felt safety that overrides the constant background vigilance that most animals maintain, even while resting. Whether your cat dreams about you specifically is not something neuroscience can currently confirm with certainty. But what is answerable is this. The experiences that get processed during sleep are the ones that carried emotional weight during waking hours. The interactions that were meaningful get revisited. If you are his primary attachment figure, and for a male cat who sleeps beside you every single night, you almost certainly are, then you are among the most emotionally significant elements of his daily experience. The assumption that cats are fundamentally indifferent, that they tolerate human company rather than genuinely wanting it, that the image of a cat pressed contentedly against a sleeping person is really just a story about body heat, and that reading anything deeper into it is projection. A 2020 study from Oregon State University went further. It found that cats demonstrate what the researchers called individual-specific social preferences, meaning they don't just have a general comfort with human company. They form specific preferences for specific people that are meaningfully distinct from their responses to other humans. Your cat isn't just comfortable around people. He has a particular relationship with you that is different from his relationship with anyone else. Now let's talk about what you can actually do with all of this. Because understanding what your male cat's sleep behavior is telling you isn't just interesting. It has direct practical implications for how you maintain and deepen the relationship you already have with him. This often backfires, and understanding why matters. The way to honor his choice to sleep beside you is, somewhat paradoxically, to be consistently present without being consistently demanding. Let him come. Let him settle. Let him sleep. Your consistency, the reliability of your presence without the unpredictability of unwanted handling, is the foundation of everything he's been communicating to you by being there every night. The second practical takeaway: treat his sleep patterns as active health information. You now understand why changes in sleep behavior are among the earliest signals of physical or emotional distress in cats. You understand that cats mask symptoms, and that the baseline you observe every night is data that no veterinarian can replicate from a once-a-year exam in a clinical environment. Use it. When his pattern shifts, when he's restless 3 nights in a row, or suddenly absent from his usual spot, or pressing into you with unusual intensity when he normally stays alongside you, take that seriously. A single different night means very little. Several consecutive nights of changed behavior, especially combined with any other small shift in appetite, movement, or social behavior, is worth a call to your vet. You are in the best possible position to catch things early. That position was built by paying attention, and now you know what to do with it. The third thing is the most fundamental, and it's about getting the relationship right on its own terms, rather than on projected ones. Your cat is not a child. He doesn't have human emotional needs, and treating him as though he does tends to create conditions that don't actually serve his well-being. He doesn't need constant verbal reassurance. He doesn't need elaborate performances of affection. He doesn't need you to demonstrate the relationship back to him in ways that would make sense between two people. What he needs is what he has already shown you he values: your consistent presence, your emotional predictability, the reliable safety of the environment you maintain, and the specific quality of attention that allowed you to become his primary attachment figure in the first place. He already knows what you are to him. He decided that a long time ago, based on information you were providing, whether you realized it or not. The job is simply to remain what he already chose. That is a simpler and more demanding standard than most human relationships ask of us. Simpler because it doesn't require articulation or performance. More demanding because it requires genuine consistency, not just on the good days, but in the small daily patterns of how you move and speak and respond to him over time. He has been reading those patterns since the beginning. The decision he made was built on them. And every night he comes back to his spot beside you, he is telling you, in the most direct way available to him, that the decision still stands. There's one last thing worth saying here. Something that sits underneath all the research and the behavioral science. Think about what it actually means to be chosen by a creature that didn't have to choose you. Dogs were selectively bred over thousands of years to orient toward humans. Their attachment to people is partly the product of deliberate human engineering. Their social bonding with us was built into them. Cats were not. Feline domestication was largely self-directed. Cats moved toward human settlements because of the prey concentration that human agriculture created, and the relationship that developed over millennia was built first on mutual tolerance and only later on something warmer. Nothing in the evolutionary history of the domestic cat required it to form the kind of deep, selective, individual-specific attachment that yours has formed with you. He chose to anyway. And that choice, made every night, expressed in the quiet language of where he places his body and how deeply he allows himself to sleep, is one of the more genuine things available in the relationships most of us have access to.
Most people who share their lives with cats sense this without being able to put words to it. They feel the weight of the animal beside them in the dark and understand, without needing it explained, that something real is happening. They're right.
What the science does is give language to something that was already true. It gives you the vocabulary to describe clearly what you are already experiencing correctly. Your male cat chose you. He trusts you with his deepest vulnerability. He watches over you while you can't watch over yourself. He reads your emotional state with a sensitivity you probably underestimate. He dreams beside you. And every single night, he comes back. That's what it means when your male cat sleeps with you. Not warmth-seeking, not coincidence, not habit. It means you earned the trust of an animal that was never required to give it. And he gives it to you, in the same spot, in the same way, every night. Now you know what you've been witnessing.